Hello! Welcome to the Villains Talk Show. I'm C4, your host.
Great.
And Happy New Year. And I don't know where we got that new soundbite, but it was the sexiest voice I've ever heard. I don't know about anyone else. It's the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life.
I've heard better, I'll be honest.
You are just saying that because you can't handle it. That being said,
Exactly, that's it.
to my right is Sara Vike. Further down is Insanieac. Hello, Insanieac. Welcome back.
Here in voice and in actual,
Yay!
not just in chat.
All right, that's enough from you. And then back over to the right is the great Grease Goblin. And as always, lurking in the corner, saying only a couple things every so often, is Sir Jeremy.
Hello, sir.
Hello,
sir.
And then
I'll creep back into my closet.
Who told you to leave the closet?
How dare I have to use my voice?
You know you have room to
fine.
stand.
Stand in the corner, I was gonna peek out the door.
For people who've never seen us before, we are just a regular talk show. We talk about random topics that we come on that we think of. We have guests, and yeah, today's topic, because it's a new year, and we're kind of hoping that it's going to be a good one. Even though I'm on team that's going to be shit decade, team shit decade.
Cheerful.
We are going to talk about abandoned resolutions. You know, those things that we tell ourselves that everyone knows we always abandon, and that everyone always talks about they always abandon. So then why do we lie to ourselves? And then, but before that, we're going to talk about fan fiction. Because I'm going to be candid about this. Is I like Abridged series, but I absolutely hate fan fiction. I hate it.
Ever read fan fiction?
Oh, dude, we'll get into that. But I'm of the opinion there is no such thing as good fan fiction.
It's funny.
There's no such thing as good fan fiction.
Fan fiction once in my life.
And yeah, that's today. Hello, Kit. It's nice to see you. Lies are comforting blankets in cold reality. Well, yeah, that's why I tell myself them all the time. That's why I sleep so warmly at night.
You're pretty.
Thank you. I know. My mom always tells me that too.
Somebody has to be.
Someone's got to bring a nihilistic attitude sometimes.
So, compliments aside, let's start with fan fiction. I would like to point out that one of the worst fan fictions ever made became a fucking goddamn series and a movie series. And that is...
Ooh, I wonder what you could be talking about.
Oh, it's called Sparkly Vampires of Death.
That was a fan fiction? It's a good thing I never watched it.
No,
Yep.
that's not a fan fiction. But
It
there's
is.
fan fiction based on
It's
it.
a fan fiction.
That's not the...
No, I thought Twilight was a fan fiction of...
No.
No.
Oh, please enlighten me then, Sarah. Please
50
tell
Shades
me.
of Grey is a fan fiction.
That's
fan
right!
Fiction of Twilight.
I'm sorry!
You're sort of like halfway there.
What a great step up!
Right?
Kit says fan fiction is a valuable tool for writers who want to practice subverting expectations. The point is often to subvert world relationships and characters' universe. Not that I've ever written any.
Not a likely story.
I won't lie and say that sometimes I watch properties and I think of my own alternate endings, or I think of my own contributions if I was ever given the chance to contribute to said thing. Like, let's say if I was given the chance to write a Star Wars short story. But I would never, and you could call that fan fiction, but at the same time, the way I look at it is that's being trusted with a property to create something that they plan on publishing. Not something that you're going to write and put on the internet and have 50,000 followers who have no idea how to fucking write, think that you're the greatest writer ever, and then all of a sudden get a movie series about it, and but please, anyone,
Oh.
contradict me.
It was hot in 50 Shades of Grey.
I really can't disagree with you.
I got one on
I'm
team.
just gonna be.
We're just your pretty faces, John. Don't worry.
What? Well, come on, Sarah. I see that
What?
smile.
Oh, I don't know. There were like 4
Oh, you cut out there.
different. I have written fan fiction. Can you
Oh,
hear?
yes, I heard that. You've written fan fiction. I'm still stoling that in my mouth. So what are your opinions on fan fiction then?
If your screen's not frozen.
I have a varied opinion on it because yeah, there's some out there that is terrible that people did they know English? I don't know. Or whatever language they're writing in, it's not clear. But at the same time, there's some good stories out there that people have taken something and made it their own.
Yes, please go on. I'm just
So
joking.
obviously, I did not write fan fiction for the sake of and trying to make my own thing. I just saw something that I enjoyed, and I thought, this would be a fun way to look at it differently. And I wrote it down, and then I put it on the internet, and people read it. It was actually kind of surprising. I didn't expect them to.
So you were also guilty.
But I mean, I had fun.
Is there a link to this? Do we get?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, you don't.
Continue then. I see.
What it was about. Give us a tease.
Just the tip. Just the tip, Sarah. Come
Harry
on.
Potter fan fiction.
Never mind.
At least
Never
some
mind.
of it.
I'm good. Please continue. I immediately rescind all.
That's perfect.
I read the book and was like, you know what? I feel like I have a better ending for this, and wrote it down. And I had fun. And really, I think that's the important thing. I have to say personally that if someone were to write fan fiction of something that I created, I would feel really honored by it because it would tell me that someone enjoyed what I wrote so much that they thought about it and they thought this would be a cool story to tell about it too.
Well, it looks like Kit agrees with you in the chat.
Yeah.
He says, I wouldn't mind someone doing fan fiction of some of my works, both because it would mean that I've
Exactly.
accomplished enough to imprint on someone, or maybe that would spread some extra awareness of my works.
Exactly. That's exactly it, Kit. I think that it would be really cool to have someone try to imitate what I did because it means that they have enjoyed it.
As a non-writer, I could say I'm guilty of not really writing fanfics, but putting fan interested stuff in my games. When I set up some of my some of the Dungeons and Dragons stuff I've run, as writing some of my own stories that I've put in characters from various things and write up a new kind of a tangent, I guess, of where they might be in the situation. Not exactly a whole new story about their story, but placing them somewhere else and seeing how things go.
So you play with it like Fable did, for example.
Kind of.
Fable would
Like
put in...
For example, I had one of the characters one of our players had an interest in Alice in Wonderland, so I ended up putting Cheshire Cat into one of our sessions as a character, and almost as a villain. And it's become more of a side thing that I've teased at, but it hasn't really been too big. But it's something something that I've thrown in a little bit here to see how it was responded with the players and if it would draw any interest.
I would like to put it out there.
Yeah.
Alice in Wonderland is one of those books no one has read. Like,
I've read
how
it.
many
I
people...
have.
I mean, like, if you go out and someone tells you they're obsessed with Alice in Wonderland, and they tell you what Alice in Wonderland is about, you just look at them because they haven't read it. I haven't met anyone who's
Probably
actually...
true.
I had read the book, to be honest. I didn't ask, but I could see it based on their...
Are there people who have watched the movie and been obsessed with it? Because that seems insane.
No, that's pretty common.
That's pretty common, Sarah.
Interesting.
What reality do you live in?
Which movie's that?
I want to be there. People read where you live? What?
They do, yeah. Maybe I just have smart people.
I don't believe
Fever
you.
dream.
Well,
But I
please.
also just don't know people who are obsessed with Alice in Wonderland.
I enjoy it. I'm not really someone who would be upset. I like the characters and I like the story, but I never read the book either. I definitely only seen the movies.
Yeah. I had to read it for a class.
Some of the video games, and the video games are interesting too.
I have
They're
a
very
quick question. The Jabberwocky, is it from the book Alice in Wonderland?
From a sequel.
From what I remember, it started as a poem, didn't it?
Yeah,
I
it's a
have-
poem.
If I'm not mistaken, it is
It
a
is.
Germanic poem.
It is not in Alice in the Looking Glass. It is a poem.
Yeah, that is correct.
So I was right then.
No, I wasn't.
Anyway,
Was it not?
And do you want to hear the fun story of the very first time that I read fanfiction by accident? It's a pretty entertaining story.
Yes.
was it...
So,
Wait. Romantic fan fiction?
yep.
Oh, then yes,
I was
please.
10.
Oh, please.
So I was 10. When I was 7 or 8, I started reading The Lord of the Rings. And then my 3rd grade teacher convinced my mom, she's too young to read that. She won't understand it. She will be scared by it. No, not true. I got like halfway through The Two Towers by the time that she stopped me, and I loved it.
Do I need to put another viewer discretion
No,
in the
wait.
chat real quick?
No, we're good.
Okay.
So my mom took it away from me, and she wouldn't let me have it back for like 3 years. So at one point, like halfway through that, when I was in grade 5, I was just really sad, and I was like, man, I miss reading about it.
Wait. Just before you finish, all I can think of is you reading a fan fiction called The Two Towers. And The Lord of the Rings. And it's just
No.
two assholes and two giant penises.
No.
But please continue.
Actually, well, yes, just wait, we're getting there.
Yes!
I googled it. I just googled like Lord of the Rings. I was just trying to see if I could find it online, like beat my parents because they'd taken the books away from me. And I found a story and I started reading it, and it was a scene I recognized. It's not in the movies, but if you've read the books, if you've read Fellowship of the Ring, there's a scene. Frodo, like there's like 17 years in between when Bilbo's party happens and when Frodo leaves the Shire. And toward the end of that time, Frodo actually like moves away from Bag End.
Yeah.
And he and his friends go on, he and Merry and Pippin and Sam go on like a little through the Shire. And when they arrive at Frodo's new house, their friend is there and he's drawn them all baths. And they all have a bath in the same room in 4 big tubs. And so it was that scene, and I was like, okay, yeah, I recognize this. Let's see what happens. And I kept reading, and Merry and Pippin went off. But Frodo was still there. I didn't get super far before I stopped. They were like making out, and I was like, "This is not okay. This is not how this scene went." At that point, I turned it off and was like, "That was scary." But yeah,
Let's
I was
redefine
10 and
high
traumatized.
fantasy.
Right?
Welcome to the internet, sir.
Yeah, that it really was like pretty much the first time I was allowed to browse the internet.
So
alone,
wait, did you have flashbacks to that scene in the book when you were watching the end of Return of the King when they're all jumping in the bed? I can imagine you might have had
No.
PTSD for a moment.
No.
No, this isn't actually in the books. No.
No. Fun fact, though, if you haven't read Lord of the Rings books, there is actually a surprising amount of nudity.
Yes. Well, it's an
This isn't,
adult
like, being a
book.
normal thing, though.
It's an adult book.
It's not an adult book, not really.
Anyway, back to fan fiction.
Do we have to?
So that was my introduction to it as a small child.
On that note, one fan fiction I did say I do appreciate, but that's on a different rung. It would be Abridged. When we had Kit on, actually, he mentioned Sword Art Online Abridged, which I completely agree is there's very few abridged. Like there are some good abridged out there, like Dragon Ball Z Abridged, Yu-Gi-Oh Abridged, Hellsing Abridged is good. Goblin Slayer Abridged is good. There's another one that's pretty good, but nothing beats if you've seen Sword Art Online and you've watched that anime, then do yourself a favor and watch the better version, Sword Art Online Abridged. And
Just remember,
it's
always donate to the Kirito's Always Right Foundation.
always donate to the Kirito Always Right Foundation. Because the reason I say that and I'm for that kind of fan fiction is because in pertaining to Sword Art Online itself is it was too anime. You have a guy who is the best at this game. Everyone gets locked off. And spoilers, by the way. And he gets locked off in this game, and he becomes the most powerful because he's just used to playing MMORPGs, and he's just really good. And here's the thing. They make him, like, the pinnacle of good. Like, oh, I'm going to help people. Oh, I have such a kind soul. But in the Abridged... Okay, but just, like, if you play those games, those people do exist, but they are literally 1 in 100, and they are not good at the game. They're the kind of people that, like, they're pretty good, but they're not soul-crushingly good, like Kirito's supposed to be. Those people are dicks.
Yeah.
It's just absolute assholes, and I'm sorry, it's just, I've been those people too. It just happens. You start to lord over people. And if you watch the Abridged, that's exactly what happens. And it's so gut-wrenchingly awesome how they pretty much just said, no, Sword Art Online wouldn't happen like this. If someone was this powerful, they would lord it over people. And yeah. It's short. To watch the whole thing only takes like 2 hours, but it's so good. Every episode just makes me so happy. But the reason I think that's fine and I enjoy that is because the goal is they inject it's Sword Art Online, but it's not. There is the only thing that's the same is what's happening and the animation. Everything else is its own complete story. It's a complete different view of what's going on rather than someone in my mind trying to imitate a writer. And instead of actually, instead of actually trying to create something of their own, all they're doing is they're basically limiting themselves. At least that's how I find it. And I never like fan fiction. It's never as good. It's like, and I know I'm a hypocrite because then I'll go out and I'll argue all day until Sunday that the extra books of Dune that were done by Frank Herbert, or Frank Herbert's son, The Machine Crusade, are some of my favorite books, which are literally fan fictions by his son that were published and are technically canon to the Dune series. They're some of my favorite books. Yeah. But I'm gonna open up the floor now, I guess. What do you guys think? I'm sure you guys watched Abridged series. Obviously, Caden over there does.
I think I might have seen the Dragon Ball Z Abridged. I don't quite remember.
Dragon Ball Abridged is amazing. That was another one that's like just as good, if not better, than the original.
The shenanigans of like screaming for like 6 episodes.
Well, they cut all that out, right? Instead, they focused more on like how, because Goku was head and like fell in a mountain and dropped on his head, so he's not very bright. They like focus on that, and it's hilarious.
Did Gohan just dodge? I think I could cry right now. Is Piccolo crying?
Cry.
I enjoyed the Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged.
No. Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged is pretty good too.
I found the first couple episodes to be.
Once you get into it, yeah.
Yeah.
How far does the Abridged go? Is it just that first season on the island, or?
Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged goes right to the end. Like, they literally just finished it, like, 4 or 5 months ago. Like, right to the end of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Okay, is it like a Yu-Gi story?
It's
extra people come in.
no, it's Yugi.
Okay. Because, well, eventually, like, it stops being Yugi as the main character, right?
No, it's Yugi's arc. It's his entire
Okay.
They
arc.
also did 5Ds and GX.
They're not as good.
Well, I don't imagine
5Ds is really
So, I've never watched the abridged or the original versions of any of these, but what's the point of the abridged one?
So
making a joke of everything that.
what the abridged is, okay, so Yu-Gi-Oh! This is a good one to work with too. So Sarah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a card game. And in the TV show, it is a card game. Children's card game.
Okay.
And so a running joke
In the show, it's not a children's game,
So-
really.
but in the show, you have to imagine these really serious people like wielding what they would consider like guns and super weapons, but they're just playing cards. And these monsters actually like can manifest in reality, and it's ridiculous, right?
Yeah,
In the abridged, they constantly acknowledge, they're like, I will take your soul by defeating you in a children's card game. and it's so much better.
So is it mostly just a humorous retake on it?
Yeah, because it's like, I am the Emperor Pharaoh from 10,000 years ago, and I will quell these demons.
Possessing a 12-year-old's
I
body.
was possessing a 12-year-old's body. I will quell these demons and this constant intrusion into our reality by playing a children's card game. And it's so good.
Interesting.
And then there's the antagonist, his arch rival, who's like, no, you beat me in a children's card game. How can I live with myself? Oh my god. It's so good.
So much money.
It's so good.
The character was taking it like way too seriously because in his time it wasn't a fucking kids card game. It was a
No, in
big
the Egypt, in the Pharaoh time, they were like, they actually played it for like regions of
execution.
land, and that was how they settled war. But in their time, it was they literally summoned these creatures and like waged war on each other.
But now it's a children's card game.
In modern times, it's been reduced to a children's card game.
Or like, the other thing is, there's a rules to the actual game, the way that it's played, and there's actually you can't do certain things. But the main character, Yugi, he's like, what is it called? He calls it my Millennium
Puzzle.
His Millennium Puzzle. Yeah,
No,
puzzle.
but in the abridged he calls it something else. It's my Millennium...
pyramid, probably, or
No! My Millennium Plot Device. With my Millennium Plot Device, I can change the rules of the game and target the dark ring around your castle, bringing it down and destroying all your monsters and your life points. Wait, you can't do that. That's not how this game works. Ah, but with my Millennium Plot Device, it now does. It's so good.
Funny.
I mean, the first couple seasons were real bad. It was like halfway through Battle Season or Battle City, they actually started using the real rules from the game.
No, they didn't. That was
Like a little bit.
A little bit. Just a
little bit. Dude, like none of the rules made sense in the first two seasons at all. Like they're not even playing the same game.
And that's the point.
They're calling it the same thing, but that's not what they're doing.
That's one of the running jokes, is the villains would be like, that's not how this game works. Ah, my Millennium Plot Device says it does now.
Wow, we're running in a forest, so my plant type monsters get bonuses.
Then when they actually beat Yugi, the only way they beat him is they're like, how did you beat me? We took away your protagonist powers. No! If I'm not the main character, nothing will ever go my way anymore. It's so
true.
So, with that show, it's more of a take on just running plot devices, and it's more of a giant fourth wall break. Where SAO Abridged, it's an actual story. It's not about talking to the audience. It's about remaking the story as it should be. It's another one with if you guys anyone's seen the Van Helsing Abridged or Helsing Abridged.
That was great too. Yeah.
Helsing.
I haven't.
No, Helsing
Star's
is
just really good.
Helsing's just good. Like just watch Helsing. Just watch Helsing. Or Helsing whatever the EVO is, like there's another version. It doesn't matter. They're both amazing. Watch Hellsing. But Hellsing Abridged is hilarious because the idea is kind of takes both. It takes the fourth wall breaking of Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged and instead inserts you have Dracula, Alucard, and he's just so OP as shit. And in the thing,
I know what he calls police girl.
yeah.
My name. She keeps telling him
her name, and he just calls her police girl. He's just.
Don't worry, it's all right now. You name every time.
But I like a bridge series because I think the idea is you're looking at something and you're putting your own spin on it, and you're not taking a property and trying to copy it. If anyone's ever seen, this is a bit different, but there's this guy who's called If the Emperor Had a Text-to-Speech Device, and you have this entire universe, 40K, where there is no lore, really. Well, there's tons of lore, but there's like this vacuum of lore in terms of comedy because it's so dark, and there's no videos of it. And if you look it up, the idea is you give this emperor, who's literally a zombie that sits on a throne, a text-to-speech device, and he gets to actually talk for the first time in 10,000 years to his subjects, and he finds
Typing of the Dead.
It's really good. You should watch it if you haven't seen it. But I like that because it puts its own spin, and it's not replicating, it's your own creative take, which is way more fun to enjoy for me.
Well, it's like D&D, right? You mash a bunch of shit together and you just roll with whatever happens.
But you don't have to. You could be someone who just runs.
I think that putting your own spin on it, though, is what good fan fiction does.
Yeah.
Like, putting your own spin on it, I think that the good fan fiction out there, that's what it does. So, how is that?
How is it different?
Yeah. What makes you see it differently?
Not being sexual most of the time.
I mean, that is definitely one thing. There is the dark side of fan fiction we've kind of only touched on, where and that is, I'm not going to say that's a detractor because I usually ignore it, but it is a concern. You know, most written fan fiction, or like if you're going to try and look up fan fiction, more often than not, it's not what you're looking for, unless you are looking for that kind of thing. Then there's a whole plethora of fan fiction for everything on the internet for you. But
Rule 34.
yes, literally.
Rule 63.
Except no one follows Rule 34.
Oh, there's all kinds of rules. I don't remember them all anymore.
The question is, and I was asked this once, what's the first rule?
You don't talk about the internet.
I actually used to know. There's like a list. No, there's a list.
There is a list.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, there's a list.
I know that the first rule is probably like...
Who made up this list? Where did this list come from? Who legitimized said list?
Probably Reddit and 4chan and stuff like that. It's usually where it comes from.
So the most illegitimate places to...
Yeah, well, are you surprised?
Except for 4chan is kind of where, a lot of things came out of.
Rule 1 is don't talk about rules 2 to 32 or 33.
That's why they jumped to 34.
Ah, I see. So it covers their own asses. Sounds about right. But the difference I see in between fan fiction and something like an abridged series is an abridged series, you have more limited tools and you're working with what's already been put to screen. And so the people that are watching already know what's going to happen because more often than not, they've already seen the series. And they have every expectation of what to expect. So in other words, the plot's there. In other words, you just follow the yellow brick road. The difference is how do you write your scenes in such a way that it comes across the way that you actually envisioned it in your mind at the time watching it. Best way I could explain that is like when you watch something on a cartoon series, because that's always cartoons or anime, and you watch this serious moment, at what point do you imagine another voice saying a different line and then completely changing the entire perception of this scoped scene? And I think that takes more artistry than it does to sit down and just write what you're thinking that's in the same universe. That's your own, I wouldn't say your own take, but just your own part that you wish to play, that you wish to write. I think yeah, I'll stick with that. I think it takes way more skill.
What you just described to me sounds like the exact same thing.
How so?
Like, I heard you say essentially the same thing twice.
So it's like seeing the actual visual of it.
Okay.
I think. Guess I can make a better job.
Explain.
Well, I don't know if I can.
I think the difference of Abridged in the way that you're thinking is more it's the visual aspect, whereas fan fiction is more the writing aspect. When you read it, I don't know. I literally don't know. It's all kind of the same to me.
I think an easier way to explain myself would be putting more limitations on your piece of work. It's harder to be expressive and it's harder to write that, and it puts more effort, and at the same time it requires more artistry than it does to simply write a fan fiction.
You have a preset to kind of work with.
Exactly. Where if you're writing a fan fiction, you can start anywhere you want with any power level of character you want, with however you want to write that story. Where in an Abridged, you don't have that luxury. You have the tools at which the animators and or first creators give you. It is your job to write it in such a way and express it in such a way that though the scenes are playing out the same as they did when they originally aired, it is a completely different, we'll say, feel, and a different, it has a different tone, it has a different message, it has a different, the same, I think that's a lot harder.
Okay. Yeah, I think I understand a little better now.
Mm-hmm.
I get you better now. Okay. So you just think that because the Abridged is the same thing but shown from a different perspective?
Mm-hmm.
You prefer it? Okay.
Perspective works.
I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
It's easy. Different kind of setting, I guess.
Do you disagree?
No, I don't think I think I don't have enough information to disagree because I've never seen anything Abridged. So, but I can definitely see what you're saying there. I do think, for me, the reason why the first thing that I wrote of fan fiction was because I wanted to write something, but I wanted to practice writing something in a style that I wouldn't usually pick, and that's why I picked that.
Mm.
It's why I picked Harry Potter that I did. It's I tend to write actually like third person omniscient point of view, and Harry Potter is written third person, close all on Harry Potter himself, and I thought it would be good to practice doing that so that I could get a better viewpoint of what I was doing and just practice writing things with something that already had a bit of a template for me to do it. And I think that was really, really useful for me. It actually helped me a lot. It taught me a lot as I was doing it. So I'm glad I did that.
Okay. I can understand that. I get really ticked off when it crosses over into popular culture and gets a movie and becomes super famous, even though it's just poorly written crap. But that's just my opinion.
50 Shades of Grey just is poorly written crap.
I didn't say names,
So.
you did.
As if we didn't know.
Can you give other examples, John, of what you like?
Right.
I don't have enough knowledge to really know exactly which ones aside from this the ones that you literally just talked about.
Well, I'm sorry. What other examples?
Of movies that books that fan fictions that became movies.
Or times that it crossed into popular culture. I can't think of any others either.
So I already did say. So we said 50 Shades of Grey. I said, although it hasn't been made in a movie, there's Frank Herbert's son's books of Dune. There's...
I guess in that sense, there's all of the Tolkien books that were published after.
I was just going to get to that. All the extra Tolkien books.
So those were written from notes, so I don't know.
All the H.P. all the stuff that's associated with H.P. Lovecraft that has been made into movies that has nothing to do with him.
Like which movies? Like I don't.
Well,
what was it? Terror from the Mountainside or something?
Yeah.
I think that one just came out on audiobook.
Would you consider, since Disney took over Star Wars, would you consider their type of
now Star Wars is Star Wars?
Actually, that's an interesting question.
Star Wars
for the expanded universe.
But at the same time, Star Wars, every one of those pieces, even in Legends. So the way it's divided, just for people who aren't good with the Star Wars universe, is you have Legends and canon. Legends was all the Star Wars comics and books that were done before it was essentially, I think it was after it was sold to Disney or before, and then they started their own canon. And canon is exactly what that means. Everything that is canon, and everything in Legends is no longer canon. Because it used to be, because that was written...
I mean, when Disney physically took over and started changing and doing the rewrites of things.
Yeah.
That made Legends no longer canon.
But yeah, it's the point is... But here's what I was getting to. Everything done in Legends was commissioned by George Lucas. It was licensed out by George Lucas Studios. Therefore,
was it commissioned by George Lucas? Because commissioned has a very specific meaning, or was it authorized by him?
I think when it came to Star Wars, he had to authorize everything until he sold it to Disney.
That's what I'm talking about. Would you consider Disney stuff? Disney's change a type of fan?
Kit says maybe Disney's excuse for not paying for authors is that their work is really fan fiction now. And I agree.
That's what I'm questioning. What do you think of that?
I think that's completely true. And I'll be honest, Wizards of the Coast is being sued for it.
Yeah. I think that's been changed recently. They dropped that.
It's
changed or settled out of court.
Yeah, I think it got
if it got settled in court, then that's a bit different. Oh, the lawsuit was dropped. Oh.
I think it was dropped.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, they dropped it, I think.
I hope Hickman and Weiss are getting a new deal. But that being said, yeah,
that'd be sweet.
Fan fiction it's good fan fiction gets abused, and there's so much bad fan fiction. It's just it's a field of dicks. It's like running through a field of dicks.
Isn't that?
Yeah, pretty much.
Fan fiction, then, John.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
I didn't hear that. You're picturing running through a field of dicks? I don't judge. I don't judge at all.
You've read fan fiction, then.
That's a great fan. What is it? I'm getting that from somewhere. Mr. Garrison's romance novels. Anyone watched South Park when they were younger? Mr. Garrison wrote a romance novel. I'm just trying to think of what the name was. I'm usually so good with South Park trivia. It's something like that. Anyway,
not more than one.
It's like Field of Penises or something. It's not that, but it's something like that.
Lovely.
Move dicks or something.
But moving on to our last topic of the evening.
I
Abandoned
was really hoping we'd forget about it.
abandoned resolutions. So focusing on Grease Goblin, how many times did you tell yourself you were going to lose 20 pounds in the new year?
How old am I?
I'm not going to answer that question on stream.
Not many years.
Stop making
That's
resolutions.
okay.
After high school, I stopped carrying.
Yeah. pretty
He's
much.
still on 50 Shades of Malfoy. Bad thing is that would sell, Kit. That would sell like hotcakes.
It does sell.
Oh, it does.
Oh yeah, those are very good too. Oh,
Oh,
yeah, that's-
very good? Seriously?
Yeah.
No.
They're very common ones. Yeah.
Oh.
So,
Creepy and disgusting.
Insaniac, what's your New Year's resolution that you're gonna break?
I mean, I don't know if you heard me, but I said I haven't made them since 2012.
What was your last one then in 2012?
Fuck it, dude.
What
8 years ago.
What broke it? What broke you in New Year's resolutions?
Pointless. I don't know. I don't know. I probably stopped doing them in 2013 because I did them in 2012.
Oh, 2013 now. Oh.
Fair.
No, because if I did the one year, I'm not going to do it the next fucking year when I say I'm not going to do them anymore.
Do you
right?
remember what
That
your
was his
last
New Year's resolution.
New Year's resolution was?
When I was in grade 12.
Why are you repressing these memories, Insaniac? Is there something going on?
Oh, yeah. 2012, grade 12.
I was going to say, how many of you enjoyed your high school?
I did.
Yeah.
I was like
That's
3.
very unusual.
I fucking loved high school.
It was a solid
Yeah.
3.
It's like you say, straight face.
No, I'm not even kidding. I had a great time.
Me too. Not grade 10. Grade 10 was literally horrific, but grades 11 and 12 were amazing. I wish I could go back.
I had a great
I
time. in all
can't say
three.
this.
Fair.
I think the resolution was to probably maintain like a physical health, but eventually I just actually started taking care of myself just in general and knowing it comes up and down sometimes. You know, you're not always gonna be perfect on it.
Got to keep up on that physical health. Healthy body is
I'm
a
not
healthy
able to do
mind.
that. There's no way I'm gonna be able to do that. I'm not gonna set impossible goals for myself.
So, what you're saying is your New Year's resolution now is to wake up and do 100 jumping jacks every day.
I think that sounds like yours.
Then you can say, "Hey, I did 100 jumping jacks today." No, I've never made New Year
you're one making them
resolutions
for me, 'cause I haven't
because
since I was asleep all of New Year's this year, so
I choose not to lie to myself, so I just don't make them.
that already sounds like a lie.
You always lie to yourself. That's the only way you can survive in your own like mind.
I mean, when he doesn't exist, it's hard to tell.
Exactly.
I don't
He's lying
exist,
to
exactly.
himself that he exists, but he knows he doesn't exist.
I'm just a figment of your imagination. Everything's in your mind.
I thought we were
Just
all
like
like Sarah's imagination.
It's true. You are. None of you are real. It's just me.
That makes a lot of sense.
It's so illogical.
You're the
We're-
one who told me that.
We're all in Sarah's matrix.
Nothing actually
Oh,
exists.
that doesn't make sense.
Only Sarah.
You know what? There you go. I have a New Year's resolution to convince Sarah she's the only one that exists.
I'm already convinced.
So this is your call.
You
No.
See?
did it before 2021.
Perfect. Then look, I succeeded. I got oh man, look at that. 3 days in, already completed my resolution.
You completed that like 2 months ago.
First one.
2
First
months
one.
ago, John.
First
It wasn't even
one.
in 2021.
Oh, you
First
finished
one.
it- You finished it 2 months before 2021. You
No,
did so
no,
well.
but we just confirmed it now, so it only counts now.
It's 100%.
There you go.
Fair.
All right, moving down. What about Sarah's New Year's resolution?
I have never made a New Year's resolution in my life.
Good. You
My
can
family
start
was
right
not
now.
big on New Year's or
I'm gonna
on
write
New
it
Year's
down.
resolutions, and I only ever found out about them because of friends from school.
Well, now's the time, and the time is
Now
now.
is not the time.
The time is now.
No, I do things when I want to. not
Sarah's
when
New Year's
I-
resolution. Make a New Year's resolution for next year. Done.
No. I do things when I want to. I decide to do things when I want to, not for some arbitrary reason like the calendar changing.
It's clearly making you want to do something because your brain is telling you want to do this.
Yeah, obviously.
It's not.
It's something is driving you to make this New Year's resolution.
It's not.
You're just as convincing as always, Jimmy.
It's not. So.
Bet you saw the same
Too funny.
You'd be surprised how convincing I can actually be. Speaking of which,
I believe it.
going
think.
going down the row. What about you? Do you have any Jeremy, give me something. We're from the time when we grow up, we had to make fucking New Year's resolutions at school.
No, man. You're forgetting my family is different than most families.
You don't like put.
Why should you only be bettering yourself one day a year? That's just fucking.
Exactly.
You don't fold up a piece of
Exactly.
paper. Wait. You never folded up the piece of paper and soaked it in the lamb's blood and then stuck it inside the pig and lit the pig on
You
fire.
have a baseline to go improve from.
I don't do New Year's resolutions. I have like goals.
I like you, Jeremy.
You know what?
That's exactly it, though. Like, why? It's just an arbitrary date. Why does it matter?
Because humans are dumb.
Because it's the arbitrary day that was set for the year to start.
Do it.
Yeah, you shouldn't be waiting to New Year. Just be like, okay, I'm gonna, I got another 6 months of drinking left in me. I'll wait till
Right?
next New Year.
Do you know how many
Like,
people
No,
do
well,
that
no.
though?
Oh, no.
Do you know how many people literally tell themselves, it's September. I'll just go till New Year's and then I'll stop at New Year's.
Yeah.
Do you know how many
Oh, I know.
people
It's
say
just
that to
another
me?
arbitrary
Stupidest thing
day.
in the world, and then they do it again. All
And then
over
they're
again
like,
next
but St. Patrick's Day is in March. I'll do it after St. Patrick's Day. Then after St. Patrick's Day.
Thanksgiving's coming up.
Sounds like
I don't want to be sober with family.
It just becomes an excuse.
It
New Year's
is.
an excuse.
Exactly.
But we give ourselves these excuses so that we can feel better as a society. Why don't you conform?
No,
So
so
what
you
about
feel
you?
better as a person,
Conform.
not as the society. This society should
Conform.
look at me.
Yeah. No, it really is. Like, it's a performance. You're doing it not for your sake, but for the sake of telling people, this is my New Year's resolution. That's dumb.
I got my life together. Take that, people.
Lies.
So one of my best New Year's resolutions when I was a kid is when I was 17. I made a New Year's resolution that I wanted to do as much drugs as possible before I turned 18. Best time of my life.
Wow, great.
Best 4
That's a
months.
pretty good New Year's resolution.
Oh, it was so good. Oh man. The next 4 months I was so wrecked.
Not even like 3 months.
Ever taken? Does that mean after that you started taking less drugs so that way that would forever be?
I did because then I had whatever they're called, provincials. So I had to be smart provincials and pass them. And I did. And then I got into university. And then I took all the drugs until my first day of university. I literally stopped for a month so that I could get above 80s on all my fucking grades. And then I was like, all right, back to drugs.
Is your New Year's resolution did it actually turn out to be true? Have you never done as much drugs as you ever did that 1 year ever?
I'll be honest. That summer, if you add that summer, no, I've never done that much. Because that summer, I went to Shambhala and I went nuts. That's all I'm gonna say. Like all those crazy stories I've told you about how like I've done some stuff out in a party in the middle of the woods. That was one fucking weekend or one fucking week.
Oh boy.
I lost my mind. So
Well, I'm glad you didn't die.
so that's that year.
Yeah, that's the
2007 2000 to 2008 was basically do all the drugs I can, and I did, and I'll never look back and feel bad. I did all the drugs. That being said, I still remember that New Year's resolution. I remember that one.
All the drugs.
So-
That was pretty-
What about you?
Easiest
What
one to
about you, John?
accomplish.
What's your New Year's resolution this year?
My New Year's resolution this year.
You have one. Oh my god.
I don't know. I haven't thought about it.
That's a lie.
It's already like January 2nd, 3rd?
Third.
3rd.
It's the third.
Third.
You're late.
Yeah,
The way I
John,
see
as
it, I
long
get
as
time to
you
think
make
about it.
resolutions. How do you not have one already?
Oh yeah, because
Right?
none of
Now
you.
I'm just disappointed.
Are you really?
Yeah,
Slightly.
Scared about making New Year's resolutions? You should have made one already.
you're as disappointed as you are.
You know what
at
I've
you
never
as
been?
Usually are in
I've been a lot of things in my life. I've never been an alcoholic. My New Year's resolution is become an alcoholic.
Great. Great.
I mean, I think that's backwards thinking as to the reason for a New Year's resolution.
But think of it this way. Wait. Think of it this way. If I complete
That's
it,
not bettering yourself.
Jeremy, if I complete it,
know what he's doing.
just guys, if I complete it,
No.
then
The
I
idea
complete
behind
my
it,
New
you're
Year's
supposed to better
resolution.
yourself. In no way does that better
Wait,
yourself.
just listen. Everyone fails a New Year's resolution. No one ever gets that goal. So if I want to become an alcoholic, it's a win-win. Because either I fulfill my New Year's resolution and go, ha ha ha, I did it, or I fail and I'm still not an alcoholic. Win-win.
Man, that sounds just as much a logical choice.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty logical.
That's why you two are considered the most illogical people in the party.
Yeah,
No, it
that's
makes
why you
perfect
two are the most chaotic.
It makes so much sense that it doesn't.
It makes complete sense.
So much.
It makes complete sense.
It is to
By saying he is going to become an alcoholic, his goal is to not become an alcoholic because he doesn't believe in New Year's resolutions.
Exactly.
That's
But he just argued with
stupid.
us about how we should believe
He
in
does make a resolution, so he does believe in it. The point of it is to better yourself. So if you're
Who said that?
To the point
Who said
where
it was
things
about bettering
don't,
yourself?
happen.
I never saw no rules.
Like I said, if you make the point to experience not failure, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to fail because that's part of life, son. When you
It's
fall
part
down
of
the
life,
stairs-
son.
When you didn't tie your shoes, you fucking failed. When you
That's a lie.
No, you just buy slip-ons. There's always an easy way.
I mean, you learned, but that means you learned, and it happened to you once.
Yeah.
You just get annoyed at the laces and you buy Velcro shoes again.
You don't like tying up your snowboard boots? Fine, buy clip-ons. Done.
It's like you fucked up the first time, so you learned to not do it again. Weird. So strange. Much understanding.
Yes, I'm joking, Cassandra. I'm not going to become an alcoholic. I really don't drink that much at all.
You wouldn't be able to. You're like me. You die first.
Probably.
it.
Oh,
I think the only time I've ever seen you drunk is when Chaos Incarnate happened.
Chaos Incarnate left the building, and so we had to get drunk. It was the first time in a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, there was this being we called Chaos Incarnate, chat, and
We
there's
played unicorns.
there's no other way to say it. It was Chaos Incarnate, and it finally left the building, and we're like, let's get fucking drunk. That was good. That was a long time
And
coming.
it was a nice bro night.
I was not there. I was not one of the.
I pulled out my unicorns,
Makes more sense. Than
right? We all pulled out our unicorns.
Yeah.
I wasn't there, so I don't know, and I'm glad.
Mm-hmm. And Jan passed out on my couch for a while.
Yeah.
Too much unicorn.
Yeah, exactly. Way too much unicorn.
All right, so we have 5 minutes left. I want everyone to give me a resolution. I'll give you a
I
real one.
resolve not to give a resolution.
Take your shit and go.
Sounding silence.
No, I do not accept.
Everybody here's like, you take your shit and go.
I want. We have people in chat. I want to hear people tell the goddamn cast members that they want resolutions.
John, you want to know what my resolution is?
Yeah, I do.
My resolution is to not make a resolution.
Done.
Why would you look
That
at
works.
I failed it.
No one else gets to do that one.
Mine is to do what I want, when I want, regardless of any stupid and random things like New Year's resolutions.
So you're the Eric Cartman. Sarah wants to be Eric Cartman. Perfect. Next,
Maybe.
Jeremy.
You take your shit and go.
Is that your resolution to take your shit and go?
Yeah, no, I'm taking my ball and I'm going home.
Oh.
Can you guys?
No, I'm not playing that game. No.
Come on, Jeremy.
I got goals, but I'm not necessarily sharing them.
Ah, fine.
That's totally fair.
He's an international spy. He's got mystery goals. And then finally, Insaniac. Give me something
he's
real.
Secret agent, man.
Don't give me something passive aggressive. Unless your New Year's resolution is to be less passive aggressive.
Or to be more passive aggressive.
Or be more. Oh my god, crank it up to 11.
Or just be aggressive.
Be
Or
aggressive.
just be passive.
Let him speak.
Andrew being positive? That doesn't happen.
Let him
Just
speak.
Passive.
You guys are doing a good job speaking for me. Not something out of the ordinary. And that's been the talk show, everyone. Thanks for listening.
No, we still have 3 minutes.
Sorry you had nothing better to do, but...
Hey. I get to say when it's over, not you.
I mean, we could all just stop talking and leave.
I'll just talk to myself for 3 minutes. It'll be like Mr. Rogers. I'll just sit here and say, well, children, thank you again for coming. It's been a wonderful time here in our little neighborhood. It's a wonderful...
Make sure to say hello to your neighbors. And
Make sure you
share
say
the
hello
love.
and have a great time.
And just remember, you're special, and you're important to us and the Films Talk Show.
Oh, one of the best gifts my mom always gives every year is she always gives calendars. And this year she gave me calendars with uninspiring quotes. Such uninspiring quotes as Wait. You're a snowflake, small, cold, and temporary.
I love it.
You know, it could be a great gift to us as people watching, joining and becoming a minion today, and support us at the Patreon.
There's
We would love that.
there's no time like now to keep doing nothing forever.
That sounds like a pretty inspirational quote.
I like that one.
Pretty like everyone does all the time.
Life goes in a circle. It just goes around and round and round and will never lead to anything.
That's just life right there.
I love it. But yeah. All right. Yeah. I'm so glad. You're so inspired. That being said,
So good.
happy.
He is very inspiring for absolutely no reason other than being uninspiring.
Once
It's
again,
John's beautiful voice reading them.
Happy New Year to our listeners. I mean, I'm sorry you had nothing better to do, but I'm happy you could spend it here. See, that's how you say it. Goddamn Steelers. And yeah,
No,
please
we're not Oilers.
please
We're not
follow us.
Edmonton.
Get the free app. It's a free app. It's free. It's justlikeness.com. Justlikeness.com. Get the app. It's free.
Today.
It's great.
You can subscribe if you hit the subscribe button over there. Please, like,
So follow.
that'd be
I'll
cool.
just subscribe.
Follow. Yeah, follow. I know what I'm talking about. Shut up. Otherwise, thank you all for watching. No one listened to Insaniac. He is just babbling to himself. I think, in fact, it sounds like he's cutting out. He does have a Twitch channel. I guess you can watch him there. You know what?
Wait,
I
you have
can
a-
do
you have a
whatever.
Twitch channel?
You know what? You know what?
He has an amazing Twitch channel.
That's what he
That's kinda
wishes.
And he starts to mine. Like, okay.
You know what? I'll
Yeah,
plug
it's-
whatever I want. I'll plug whatever I want. Have you ever heard of PewDiePie? Go on YouTube and watch PewDiePie. There, I plugged him. There.
sure
I'll plug someone else. You ever heard of Summoning Salt? Go on YouTube and watch Summoning Salt. Great videos.
I kind of like Markiplier.
I'll plug them all. I'll plug who I want.
Dirty slut. That's what you're here for. You plug my shit.
I can plug anything I want. This is my show. I'll plug a hole.
I am so sorry, everybody listening. For these
Make sure to check
Oh,
out
Bo Burnham.
Super
Yeah,
Something
Bo Burnham.
Entertainment.
Bo Burnham's great. Watch his comedy on YouTube. It's great. Just go watch
I am
him.
so sorry. I would stop them if I could, but sadly,
Check out
my imagination.
Something Witty Entertainment.
No, he's ranting again.
Is he ever going to stop? I don't think so.
Nothing
Subscribe.
Crime.
We don't.